Good morning, Unity Halton Peel. It is Sunday, September 10th, 2023. How did we get this far into September already? I don't know. Anyway, welcome everyone. If you're on the Zoom call, if you could please mute your mics, that would be appreciated. And for those of you watching later on Zoom, on YouTube or Facebook or wherever we post this, welcome. We're glad that you've joined us today. It being the month of October, our faculty is spiritual order, and I'll have a bit more to say about that. This is also the week, this Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday, our World Day of Prayer. So we'll have some things to say about that as well. But let's begin with our mission and our reason for coming together today, why we do this, why we participate. So the mission of Unity Halton Peel is to lovingly inspire transformation and be of service to the world. Let's just take a moment just to center ourselves, to allow the week that has been to be in the past, to allow the week that is coming to be in the future, and just to come into this moment, to give ourselves permission to just draw away from the world for a few minutes, maybe an hour, and just be with us, ourselves, be with our spiritual self, and allow the world to just not intrude. And now I'll call on Ruth Ellen to please read our daily word for the day.
Good morning. The daily word for Sunday, September 10th, 2023. The subject is care. I am here and I care. Sometimes my heart goes out to a friend or even a stranger who is struggling. Other times my heart breaks when I learn of another's devastating news. In those moments, I feel the urge to help. I pray, affirming healing, peace, or comfort. I may offer financial support or material goods. I might call on the phone or visit in person. Even so, I may feel my efforts are not enough, especially when needs are great. But the impulse to care is in many people, the activity of God streaming through so many hearts and hands. As I join my efforts with theirs, I trust we can lift up even the most dire situation. I am a caring presence, ready to help, serve, and love. And from 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8, so deeply do we care for you that we are determined to share with you not only the gospel of God, but also our own selves, because you have become very dear to us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ruth Ellen.
You're welcome.
So for those of you watching at a later time, Daily Word is our bi-monthly publication with inspirational stories and the thought for every day. And you can find it at unity.org. Our first song, I was going to change it, but I really love this song. So please indulge me once a month to play this song.
No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist, or Jew, this door is open to you. some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of divine point of view, this door is open to you. This door is open. This door right here, this door is open for you. This door is open to you. This door is open. I'm talking about this door. This door is open. I said this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white or gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Now, in honor of our World Day of Prayer, is prayers for you.
There's somebody hurting. Someone needs a hand. There's someone out there somewhere suffering. No matter what it is you're going through, this prayer's for you. This prayer's for you. If you've lost a loved one or lost your way, if you find yourself without a place to stay, yeah, no matter what it is you're going through, this prayer's for you. This prayer's for you. For you. Friend, I pray. There's somebody hurting. Someone needs a hand. There's someone out there somewhere suffering. No matter what it is you're going through, this This prayer's for you. This prayer's for you. This prayer's for you.
As we move into our time of gathering and our lesson for the day, let's just take a few moments and join together in our monthly affirmations. As always, I will repeat the affirmation once, then pause, and then we'll repeat it together, followed by another pause. For inner peace, my mind quiets in the presence of divine peace. And together, my mind quiets in the presence of divine peace. And for wisdom, in the silence of prayer, I hear a whisper of truth. And together, in the silence of prayer, I hear a whisper of truth. And for vitality, God is the breath of life, the vitality of my body and being. And together, God is the breath of life, the vitality in my body and being. And for prosperity, I am rich in divine ideas, wealthy in divine abundance. And together, I am rich in divine ideas, wealthy in divine abundance. And for faith, the road ahead may be unseen, but I walk by faith and not by sight. And together, the road ahead may be unseen, but I walk by faith and not by sight. And so it is, and so it shall be. So as I said at the beginning, our monthly faculty is spiritual order. And I don't know about the rest of you, but sometimes it can be difficult to find order. Sometimes things can feel very chaotic. And sometimes it can be a good chaos. I had family in this week, and I managed to put 1,200 kilometers on the car, driving them to different things they wanted to see. And yet there was in that. So let's do a little discussion about our 12 powers. And for those of you who might be joining us for the first time, this was something our co-founder created. And it's based on the idea that spirituality can sometimes feel overwhelming, that sometimes it feels like there's just so much to learn and so much to unlearn and so much to relearn. So like a huge block of cheese, like the big rolls that you see in Italy or France or in Quebec, you can't eat one of those in one sitting. You need to cut it up into smaller, more manageable bits. And so you can see on the slide that we've gone through a number of our powers. We're more than halfway through the month, the year. And this month is order. And order is in stomach area, in the bowel area, in that part of us. It's not quite in the solar plexus, but it's a little bit lower, that pit of the stomach, that part where when things aren't orderly, when things feel off, that wherever you feel that, that's where it is in your gut. That idea that at some deep intuitive level, you have a sense of what is orderly and what is not. And it's not just limited to physical spaces. It's also about relationships. It's also about how things are working. Have you ever been out driving somewhere and all of a sudden you have this feeling in your stomach, either that you need to speed up or slow down, and you do that and you realize that in doing that, you've missed having an accident because something in your gut just said, do it. That is an example of order. So please be as free and open with the idea as you can. The concept that we're working with a spiritual principle, a spiritual law, something that governs everybody equally, something that we can tap into when we're not sure about what's going on in the human realm. It can be very helpful to remind ourselves of this spiritual practice when it comes to spring cleaning or winter preparations, to remind ourselves that the summer tires need to come off before you can put the snow tires on. It can't be done together. It has to be done in a specific order. And you want to put the tires on and put the screws back on properly. So things like that. So let's just go for a kind of a deep dive today. I love this quote from Reverend Charlene. When we surrender to the principle of divine order and divine timing, we shall ease the anxiety of impatience. And sometimes I think in our culture, or at least in the culture that I've grown up in and that I live in, it's very much about how much can you compress into a day? How much can you get done while you're at work? How much can you, get done before you go to bed in that gap between getting home from work and going to bed? Very much about, this sense of that our worth is based on how much we do, rather than a nice timing to things. As I said, my family was visiting, and it was amazing to me. We had agreed sort of on what we wanted to do, but the weather wasn't proper for what we wanted to do. So we moved outdoor activities indoors because it was just too hot. So that was one of the things about being in order, was instead of pushing ourselves and perhaps giving ourselves heat stroke, our response in order was to say, okay, what can we do that is the healthiest choice for us under these circumstances? Yep. Let's hit the correct button and go forward. There we go. So I have been using a booklet for my series this year. We're going to do something totally different next year. I'm kind of excited about. And the booklet is available at our website, and I'll give you the link at the end of the talk. And the persons who wrote this have put together 7 steps. And as I've said before, it's not linear. It's kind of circular, or it's a squiggle that you're jumping around. So we start, though, with orientation. So this is where we get into acknowledging spiritual laws, spiritual principles, spiritual practices. I'm not sure if it's the majority of my family, but the seeming majority of my extended family do not participate in any outward spiritual activity. So I'm kind of the odd person out because I'm never available or rarely available on a Sunday for breakfast, because I'm with my spiritual peeps, my spiritual family. Once you've chosen to follow that path, though, you may find that some things need to be adjusted, that you have different thoughts about things, that you have some new attitudes, that you have a different outlook on life, that it's not perhaps as black and white as you might have thought, that perhaps you're seeing more of the shades of gray and more of the distinctions between things. The second that they propose is consent. And this is that you agree with and that you align yourself with the spiritual principles that you're learning, that you're exploring, whether it's watching a YouTube like this or Facebook like this, or listening to a TED Talk, or watching another Unity service, or indeed any kind of service. We're not fussy. If you want to watch every kind of religious service, that's perfect, because you're getting an opportunity to see different variations on one principle, and then finding that one variation that works best for you. The other thing that they suggest is that you need to accept this emotionally. I've shared before that when I first came into the Unity movement, I had a mentor, and she was very adamant that I was too intellectual about my spirituality, that my heart wasn't really in it. And she was right. Once I got my heart into it, once I was willing to say, okay, this might hurt because I might have to let go of some things that I'm very attached to. But once I got my heart engaged, things really started to happen in ways that I hadn't expected. Opportunities, I won't say opened up, but I was more aware of the opportunity when it was standing in front of me. So we have this opportunity to consent, to give our agreement to proceed along this pathway. The third is cooperation. Well, you've accepted these principles mentally, you've accepted them with your heart, and now we want to put them to work. We want to engage with them. We don't want them just to be a part of an hour or so as we're watching a video or perhaps reading a book or whatever. We want them to be an active part of our lives. I'm often inspired by many of the techniques that our Jewish brothers and sisters use, because they are very keen to make God a part of every aspect of their life. And I do mean every aspect of their life. Now, some of you may have just twinged when I said God. For us, we don't have to necessarily use that word. You can use spirit, you can use mind or divine mind or universe. Whatever suits you, whatever word works for you or phrase that works for you to express that understanding that you have at this moment in time of your own spiritual, eternal self. The next step is harmony, which of course can be broken out into, am I in harmony in my mind? Are my feelings in harmony? Are my affairs in harmony? Is my body in harmony? How do I bring myself into harmony? Perhaps you're aware that, you've got a little too much chocolate in the fridge, and perhaps you need to take some of that out or not replenish it to bring yourself into better harmony. I know I've had to do that. It was not easy, but I'm recognizing that being less likely to be in temptation of, I'll just have a little bite of chocolate and suddenly the whole chocolate bar is gone. We need to, be aware of that. Perhaps you're in the habit of, not putting things on a calendar, but only on your phone. I've had times when they've done an upgrade of my phone and all of a sudden my calendar's been wiped out. So my order is that I have a paper and an electronic calendar so that I have not only that balance, but I have that backup, that ability that regardless of what happens, if there's a power outage and I can't charge my phone, I still know where I need to be at what time and with whom. Order. Now, I love how they always put the faculty as usually the fifth step, but this is the point where we're past the halfway mark of this understanding, where it is becoming much more a part of us. We don't have to think about it as much. It becomes a habit, for me now, that when I get off the phone with someone that I've made an appointment with, I've either been putting it into my phone as we've been talking, or I've been putting it into my paper calendar as we've been talking, but it's always there. It's part of who I am. Things like remembering, that if I run the dishwasher at night while I'm asleep, I know that I will have clean dishes in the morning and I won't come out to a dirty kitchen. It's a little thing, but for me, it's been a way of manifesting this power of order in the outer as part of an expression of this understanding that I'm gaining. Next step is freedom. And I had to reread this a couple times because I was like, oh, yeah, freedom. Because freedom has a lot of connotations. We can mean it as, we're not incarcerated. We can mean it being that we're not extremely encompassed by rules and regulations, and we can't do this or we can't do that because the government says so. But this is the point at which we realize that in working in harmony with all of these principles, including where Jesus said, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, meaning give to whatever you need to do in the outer as well as the inner, we can be more free. I know when my income tax form came back and I owed some money, I chose to immediately pay all of it. I could have said, okay, I'll pay it over, the quarterly installments. I chose to pay it all because I had the money at the time. And I thought, that would really make me feel better knowing that my taxes are done for the year and I don't have to remember, I don't have to put it on my calendar to remind myself to render unto Caesar. And that, I haven't always been able to do that every year, but this year I was, and I was so grateful because now as family have come to visit, I haven't had to say, oh yeah, I need to keep that little bit of money back so I can pay my taxes. Things like this, things that we can do in the outer, things that we can do in the inner, and bringing those two things together allows us to have greater freedom. If you keep up with the housekeeping, it's a lot easier than trying to do it all at once, especially if someone's popping over for a visit. We can do so many things. We can, make plans. As a regular speaker at a number of Unity centers, I've already got my lesson talks planned. I haven't written them fully, but I've got my talk titles and my descriptions ready to the end of the year because that's part of my order. Being able to let go of that, knowing that the artwork's done, I've signed my contracts, the people at the other end have all that they need, so they are a little freer. They don't have to come after me and say, gee, are you still speaking for us on this day? And these are some of the things we can do to help us gain more freedom. And then finally is continuity. And this, as I've said before, the seventh suggestion is the step at which it is such a part of yourself that you don't even think about it. You don't even have to, pause. You can just go inside and you know that it will come through you, as you, and it becomes much simpler. That said, have I experienced perfection in this? No, not 100% of the time. I can think of glimmers when something that felt like it was going to be a very chaotic day. I denied that it was going to be a chaotic day. I said, no, this is not for me. I know better. I know that order can express in, through, and as me. And I'm just going to be aware and alert and let things unfold. And in that particular day that I'm thinking of, everything unfolded fairly simply with ease and grace. And it was wonderful for me to just go through that. But it required me to remind myself a couple times that, when that anxiety started to pop up, that it wasn't looking right. It's like, no, we are order in expression. I am order in expression. And therefore, I have nothing to fear because everything will come together perfectly. So that's kind of the lesson on order for the month. And you'll have other speakers providing additional information. I love this affirmation. Understanding divine order, I can embrace paradox and navigate chaos while keeping my balance. I might have to print that one out and put it on my mirror, remind myself in the morning. And if chaos reemerges, just as I said, I think last month, now it might have been to the London crew, but pause or stop and breathe. Just cease and desist, just for a moment, just long enough to catch your breath. Have you ever been in a situation where you've had a near miss on the highway and you've sort of felt yourself just kind of, you might have even pulled off just to say, okay, I just need to recenter myself and get my heart rate down, get my breathing back down to a more normal, regular flow. And be gentle with yourself. This may be something you have no control over, only your response to it. Like when a guy almost hit me the other day. Legally, I was in the right, and I was able to respond quickly, and no damage. We didn't actually touch. We just came really close. I had no control over what he was going to do with his car. I could only control where I was going with mine. And fortunately, I'd left enough space in front and behind that I was able to safely stop before we actually impacted. So that was something that we could do. And I was gentle with myself. I actually did pull off and just allow myself to get back into a space where I was, ready to go again and not have that adrenaline rushing through my veins as I was driving. And above all else, remind yourself that you have the spiritual tools to get back in alignment. It's not a one-shot deal where, oh, you messed up, that's it, you don't get another try. You can have as many tries, as many attempts, as many goes at something as you are willing to take. Now, that said, on the earthly plane, on the human plane, there might be limitations, but spiritually, there is no limitation. And it's the spiritual tools that will get you back into alignment. Now, for some of you, you may have heard of Unity's 5-step prayer process. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just going to put this up. If you want to get your phone out, take a screenshot of it, please do. This is the basic 5 steps. We relax. We let go of whatever it is that we've been carrying this week. We concentrate. We turn our thoughts inward. We turn our thoughts away from whatever has been around us. We might, turn off the TV, put our phone on silent, dim the lights a little bit, something that makes us comfortable. Sit in a comfortable chair. I personally cannot sit in a lotus position for very long. So that's not a way for me to do this. meditation, to come into a space of awareness, to come into a space of what is on my heart and mind. This is the active part. I know it can be confusing because we usually think of meditation as quiet, but in this part, in this description, in my experience, it's actually been meditating on what's bothering us, meditating on what we're grateful for, meditating on what's concerning us. And then realization is the quiet part. Realization is when we allow the spiritual self to receive the inspiration. That is, I've said to students who have taught this too. Meditation is the talking to spirit. Realization is the listening. And then appreciation. Gratitude is a huge part of our prayer lives. Gratitude, not out of, oh, I'm such an unworthy person. That's not the way we language things. But acknowledging that we are heirs to the kingdom and that our good will come to us. That a lot of what prevents us from getting our good is our own blockages around thinking we're not worthy, thinking that if we take some, then there won't be enough for everyone else. It's not pie. If you take your share, there will still be an overflowing abundance. It will not decrease. So this is the 5 steps, and there's additional information at unity.org about how we pray in our affirmative way, acknowledging that things are as they are, and that we have so much that we can do that is greater, and that we ask in a healthy way, that we affirm that we are worthy of whatever we are seeking. So this week, as I indicated, is our World Day of Prayer. It sounds kind of funny because it's actually 2 days, because we start when the clock turns in Australia. Australia and New Zealand silent unities kick us off for the whole 24 hours of prayer. So it runs a little more. But on the Unity Halton Peel website, our webmaster has graciously put in these questions. So these are the reflection questions for this week. So whether the need is for physical health, emotional health, improved relationships, prosperity, or world peace, healing is the intention of every prayer. And I want you to hear that, because sometimes we feel like healing is just about relationships or about, how our bodies are feeling or our emotions. Someone once said to me, and it really stuck with me, that appearances of lack or not having enough finances is actually a call for healing around our feelings and our thoughts about money and about our worth. So I just throw that out in addition. So how do you exercise your faculty of faith when you pray for healing? And I'm not going to give you an answer. I'm going to invite you, take a screenshot or go to our website and get questions, and just take those with you this week and have some ponderance. Describes practices you engage in to achieve inner peace. Again, that's a very personal choice. Some people love to go for a jog. I do not jog. I will if there's a bear chasing me, I'll probably run then. But I'm not someone who jogs. I do other things to achieve my inner peace. What is the role of forgiveness in healing? If you've been around Unity folk for a while, if you've been part of a Unity community, then you may recall that our co-founder Myrtle did a whole bunch of forgiveness work to bring about her healing of terminal illness. And she asked her body to forgive her for holding wrong thoughts and thoughts of sickness. That gives you a clue. How do you resolve emotional discord as part of healing? Again, some food for thought there. Murder Fillmore taught that healing involves affirming the truth and demonstrating it. What is the truth? And notice the truth is capitalized. In Unity, that means we're talking about spiritual, universal, eternal truth, not just something that is like 2 + 2 = 4, except for when it doesn't. And how might you demonstrate it? How might you take some of these principles around our spiritual practices as you come to understand them? And what's key is your understanding, not mine. I share mine in these lessons because that's all I can do is share my experience. What is your experience? Oops. No, that's good. All right. Confusing myself here because I don't usually have a song here, but I thought since I've given you all these questions, I'd put a song in so that we can all just achieve some inner peace. So this is When I Pray by Daniel Neymar.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God.
As I indicated, the booklet that this lesson was based on is available at unityhaltonpeel.ca. If you go to the resources tab and then go down to the 12 powers, The booklet, Discover Your God-Given Potential, is available for free. Donations are welcome, of course, but there's no obligation. As I said, Heart of Healing, Unity World Day of Prayer. There is no cost to participate. They are asking us to register. This is my proof that I have my ticket and that it was free. So we are starting at 8 o'clock local time, Eastern time, and it'll be a Zoom call, and there are a lot of amazing ministers and musicians scheduled, and opportunities for deep prayer and opportunities to hear some insights on healing and unity. And this is, I believe, the 30th year we've done this. So it's a great time to come together virtually in ways that we haven't been able to come together before. As always, Diane, I believe I saw her come on the call. So our Unity prayer chaplains are available, and you can request prayer at praywithdiane@gmail.com, and she will share your request with the rest of the prayer team, all of whom are trained professionals, and Silent Unity, which is world headquarters, which has been in prayer for 130 years, 132, I think. Also on the topic of prayer, LUT pastoral care candidate Debbie Leland from Kitchener Unity is leading affirmative prayer circles every Friday from 9:55 a.m. to 10:30. And you can email her at iamlighthearted@gmail.com for more information. There may be other groups having prayer circles at other times. Debbie's overseeing all this, so please contact her and get involved. As always, our newsletter is available under the resources tab at our website. Please sign up. You will get more information about what's happening. And as you can already tell, there's lots happening. You can tell it's fall because everything's starting up again. And let us just take a moment to breathe through and bless our love offerings, our tithes, our financial gifts. Knowing that as we share, we embark on a journey that allows this to come back to us in ways that we may not have expected. It is said that you do not necessarily reap what you sow. You may sow here and reap somewhere else, or you may have sown somewhere else and reaped here. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we are in a flow of giving and receiving, and that we give and receive with equal gratitude for these gifts and for the givers and for the blessings that they enshrine in the currency which they share in whatever form that is. We know that it is not the matter that is important. It is the spirit, it is the emotion, it is the blessing behind it. And so it is. Amen. One of the things that Unity Halton Peel does is we do share of our tithes with Eden Food for Change. Their website there is on the screen. And it is a wonderful organization that is much more than a food bank, that truly supports people as they go through some challenging processes and times in their lives. Next Sunday, we welcome Reverend Barbara Schreiner-Trudell, and she's going to talk about radiant intelligence. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. And then the following Sunday, we welcome back Reverend Dr. Jane Simmons. And I believe that's supposed to be Seek First the Kingdom. Missed that one. Oops. So she will be sharing with us, and looking forward to having her back. Today begins 7 spiritual practices to heal your life with Reverend Barbara's church, cslondelake.com. I believe you can still register.
In person or online.
Thank you, Patty. A reminder that there are a lot of things happening in Canada, and to go to unitycanada.org, sign up for the newsletter. It's monthly, so it's not going to be a lot of emails, except for when we're getting ready for an event. But just to know what's happening out there. We may be small in Canada in terms of numbers, but we are mighty. We have a lot of really cool things happening in Canada that many other Unity communities don't yet. They'll learn from us. One of the things that we are doing, Sheila Maye who's a licensed Unity teacher, on the 20th, we'll start a series about doing autumn well. And one of the things that Sheila and I talked about was how challenging it is for many people to have that death of the leaves, that sense of going into hibernation for the winter. And she has a great series prepared. It's going to talk about a lot of the holidays or holy days that we experience in the fall, that some we don't celebrate in Unity, but if we go back and just pause and say, what is the underlying purpose, we can find something really good around it. Pick and choose as your time allows, and you can email Sheila for more information. Coming up in October, free pre-registration required, the virtual conference and the annual general meeting for Unity Canada. And I'm excited. I didn't know who they were bringing in for our keynote speaker. Indira Huerta is one of the staff at Unity headquarters. I work with her a lot. There's a lot of places where she and I cross paths. And she is the overseer for the spirit groups. And this is something that Canada is actually doing a pilot project for, that instead of having to sign up and take 7 months of training, we're doing it a little differently that suits our needs. And so I'll invite you all to please attend at least the conference. If you're curious about what Unity Canada is up to business-wise, please feel free to attend the AGM as well. More information at unitycanada.org. Coming next month is the SEE, the Spiritual Education and Enrichment courses are coming back. I remind everybody that you don't have to take it for credit. If you don't take it for credit, you don't pay any fees. You don't have to do the assignments. You can just sit and listen and participate as much or as little as you want. Our own Debbie Long will be teaching meditation practices on Mondays. I'll be doing an overview of Hebrew scriptures, which is kind of a historical, cultural introduction, starting on Saturday the 21st. And my colleague, Reverend Rosemary Hyde, will be teaching Metaphysics 4, which is the fourth of four courses. So please reach out if you're curious about any of those. I think those are all the announcements. Madam Prez, are there any I have missed?
No, you've done a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. So let's just take a breath and envision the children in our lives. Whether they are our own children, the neighborhood children, the children we see going to school, the children we see on the news around the world. And today we hold in light and love the people of Morocco as they sift through the rubble to find those who are still alive after the earthquake. We hold in light and love any children who have become orphaned or have been seriously injured by the earthquake. And we bless and appreciate that we have children in our lives for the lessons that they teach us. And together we say, children and youth of Unity and of the world, we love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. So it is. And we join together in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. And as has become our tradition, we ask Sue Riley to sing us out.
is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family, sharing one son. I choose love. Yes, I do. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love.
Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you again sometime. Please stop in at our website or email us for more information and upcoming activities.